Hi everybody, thanks for inviting me to speak at Global AR Summit. I wish I could be there with you. I would have loved to see your innovations in augmented reality and chat with you in person. But unfortunately, I couldn't make it this time. So hopefully, you'll enjoy at least my video presence. First, a little bit about why I'm here. My name is Inbar, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of AugmentedReality.org, a non-profit organization with a mission to advance augmented reality to advance humanity. We do it by connecting and educating developers and the public online and in events around the world. And we run a virtual incubator that helps dozens of AR startups hatch their ideas to market. And we have a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal to inspire 1 billion active users of augmented reality by the end of the decade. That's 2020. With your support, I'm confident we can achieve it. One of our key activities to make this happen is Augmented World Expo. AWE is our major annual gathering in Santa Clara, California. Now in its 5th year, it's the world's largest event dedicated to AR, wearables, and the Internet of Things. AWE has been doubling every year, and this year we're expecting 2,000 attendees, 200 exhibits, and over 100 talks, a tour de force of the industry. So what's the main story we're trying to tell this year at AWE? The main theme is make the world more interactive. Why? Because an interactive world makes everything we do more engaging, productive, and ultimately more fun. Sounds cool, but what does it really mean, an interactive world? What's new about it, and why now? 2014 is emerging as the year of the wearable. And this, by the way, is an illustration of the first Chinese innovation in wearables, dating back to the 18th century. The Internet of Things is becoming huge and valued by corporations like Cisco at $14 trillion. And augmented reality seems to have turned the corner and is showing real value. That's all great, but why are we grouping these technologies into one story? How are these technologies transforming our lives? And what is this fundamental new world? I like to call it the interactive world. You may say computers are interactive, but what the hell does it have to do with the physical world? And you'd be right. In the last 30 years, since the Apple Lisa was launched, interactive has indeed been defined as a two-way communication with a computer, a graphical user interface on a screen controlled with a keyboard and a mouse. But if you keep going back in time, according to Webster's dictionary, the first use of the term interactive dates back, way back, to 1832, with the original meaning defined as acts upon another person or thing. That is so cool. Think about it. For 1,000,000 years, humans interacted with their surrounding environment. It was nature's way to evolve us to where we are today. I think now we humans have a basic urge to get away from the screen, which has been holding us hostage for 30 years. We need to break away and get back to reality. So I did some more digging for new and fresh definitions of the word interactive, and here's what I found. A new definition is emerging. You ready for this? Interactive is described as being able to manipulate and control the world. It is not talking about evil geniuses trying to take over the world, but about creating a digital layer to interact with the physical world, with people, places, and things. That layer would typically manifest itself with 3 elements: a device, an intuitive interface, and a communication method with objects in the world. Now guess what these 3 elements are? You got it. Wearable technology, augmented reality, and the Internet of Things. But how are they connected? Ask any digital native and you'll see two conflicting needs. On the one hand, we want computers to get smaller and cheaper while getting better and faster at improving our lives and work. And wearables are exactly that, mini computers on track to shrink and disappear on our bodies. Now, on the other hand, we want bigger and sharper displays. We want to see more and better. And we also want a more intuitive interaction. But if computers are so small, take a smartwatch, for example, where are we going to put these big screens? And how are we going to interact with them? I mean, there isn't much touch area on a smartwatch. So how do we bridge this gap in expectations? I think you can guess it by now. The interactive world, where augmented reality and gesture interactions serve as the interface between wearables and the world. Augmented reality is the new display and the new mouse. There are many different methods for digitally blasting photons into our eyes at high definition. Smartphones, eyewear, whether it's see-through, video-through, or virtual retina. It could also be in the form of a virtual mirror or by using projection mapping on a given surface. And when it comes to interaction techniques, a bunch of new forms have emerged. Voice, gestures, whether detected by a visual sensor like a camera, such as Kinect, or using body sensors like Mayo Armband. We can also use eye and gaze tracking to see what we want to do, and even mind control. These interaction methods are currently competing on the limited real estate on our heads and bodies, and will ultimately disappear into our clothing and eventually inside our bodies. But here's a simple example of a warehouse picker. His wearable shows him an augmented reality visualization of how to navigate around a warehouse to find an item for shipment. When the item is picked and visually recognized, the wearable device sends updates to the backend data and kicks off a process. AR is the interface between the warehouse picker and his world.
This is true
Here's a
augmented
guy
reality.
at his home with a wearable device that tracks his gesture to tell the internet-connected blinds to rise and bring in some more light. Once again, AR is the interface between wearable and the world. So augmented reality provides the new display and the new mouse. And this is how we bridge this gap in expectations. Shrinking computers and big screens. We bridge the gap and get a big, unobstructed smile. Now I want to turn into the top 5 trends I identified in the interactive world. First, from gimmick to value. From mobile to wearable. From consumer to enterprise. From GPS to 3Difying the world. And finally, the new interface. Let's look at them one by one. The first thing you'll notice is that about a year ago, AR has made a transformation from a gimmick to a valuable solution. From a girl jumping on a marker to applications that help in translation, in retail, in healthcare and sports, training, and many other fields that are being revolutionized with AR and wearables. The second trend is from mobile to wearable. The iPhone and Android enabled the masses to experience augmented reality for the first time. And once we experienced it, we wanted more. For years, we've all been waiting for real AR glasses to arrive that will make AR experiences an order of magnitude better, hands-free, always on, making us better at anything we do. And even more fascinating is that many companies are launching augmented reality glasses this year. Vuzix, Epson, Meta, OptinVent, Aether, Laster, Lumos, and a few others. But we have to remember that these are 1.0 products, and mobile platforms will continue to serve the majority of AR experiences for another couple of years until glasses take completely over. The third trend, from consumer to enterprise. This is probably the most significant trend I'm seeing this year. The industry is clear-eyed and recognizes that until the masses adopt glasses in a few years from now, the big bucks, the big revenue items are currently in the enterprise, in specialized solutions that deliver significant value to businesses. Enterprise AR is exploding with projects spanning from training to warehouse picking to field service to security and many other areas which are showing significant interest by major Fortune 1000. General Electric, Raytheon, Walmart, Verizon, and many other corporations. Trend number 4 is from GPS-based experiences to 3D-fying the world. The first augmented reality demo on a smartphone was back in 2008, and it showed a castle on a hill in Austria with a bubble of information extracted from Wikipedia. That was called Wikitude. That was based on GPS and it wowed the world. But when trying it in urban areas, or worse, indoors, we all realized that GPS is not accurate enough and it significantly detracted from the experience and turned many people away. With recent technological advances, all of a sudden, you and I can have in our hands the tools to map and sense the world in 3D. 3D depth cameras, miniature lasers, motion, sound, and signal sensors are tracking us and our surroundings and enable computers to see and understand the world. This is hugely important to making the world a more interactive place. And all of the above trends are ushering the biggest change of all. Computers are disappearing onto our bodies and into the environment, and a new interface is emerging, a truly natural interface. Multi-touch was heralded a few years ago as the new interface, but when you seek a truly natural user interface beyond touching a limited 2D screen, there's a huge potential for much more natural interface. Today, we are so oblivious to our surroundings, not to mention that we bump into things when we walk on the street looking down at our mobile devices. Computers rarely activate our brain to look around. And yet, it is in our bones the need to interact with the real world, with people, places, and things. We still need to invent that new interface, though. And it's not human-computer interaction, which has been studied for 40 years. We have to leave it behind, a new domain in design that should be thought of as human-world interaction. So these were my top 5 trends. What do you think? What would you pick as your top 5? In any case, there's no better place to experience these trends in action yourself than Augmented World Expo in less than 2 weeks in Santa Clara, California. So here's my exclusive preview. We're going to have a 2-day hackathon for developing wearable applications and compete for awards. There'll be a tutorial day with a glass class with an overview of leading wearable SDKs and AR standards, and 2 days packed with 100 talks and over 200 exhibits in the Expo. We have amazing headliners this year which will blow your mind. Hiroshi Ishii, director from MIT Media Lab, will showcase the latest research in interactive worlds. Robert Scoble, probably the most vocal evangelist in the space, will introduce the hottest startups. And Ting Chang, a visionary investor, will represent the investment community. We'll have over 140 speakers from over 100 companies from all over the world that will deliver talks that have an amazing group of sponsors and exhibitors from huge corporations to the most innovative startups. And they will showcase their latest demos in 7 pavilions in the Expo and enable you to experience these demos firsthand and get to know the people behind them. Highlights include the Augie Awards that will recognize the best of the best in 10 categories with the coolest trophy ever, and a fashion show, actual models walking on the catwalk with different wearable devices and wearable clothing that reacts to the environment and to the person. And here are some additional highlights. City Visions, a huge mural that delivers a bunch of augmented reality experiences in an urban setting. A startup launchpad where 5 startups compete for the prize. The Art Gala showcasing art performances by artists. AR Treasure Hunt, AR film screening, augmented rap performance, glass-enabled improv theater, and many, many more. So that was my preview of AWE. Hope to see you there, and I promise you, it will be awesome. So thank you for your support and for making the world a more interactive place. Cheers.